YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Benjilo. I talk about fitness, health, and lifestyle. It's a brand new channel, so if you're watching this, please show me some love. You can subscribe for amazing videos like this. You feel me? But anyways, today we're going to talk about, the title says, how to burn fat fast. And you know what? I'm sick and tired of these fitness influencers lying to y'all. You understand me, about how to burn fat, and there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of garbage out there, how to burn fat, right? So before I even go into how to burn, first of all, let's talk about how do you gain fat, or how do you put on body fat anyways. So let's start with your diet, especially when you eat carbs, right? So carbs are not bad, right? There's a lot of, I would say, noise in the fitness community talking about, oh, if you want to lose weight or burn fat quick, you should stop eating carbs and go keto or carnivore. There's some truth to that, right? There's some truth to that to an extent, but you can eat carbs and still get lean, right? So again, let me break down how you put on fat, right? So when you eat carbs, is your source of energy. We get our energy from carbs. But unfortunately, the American diet, it's not good carbs. A lot of times it's refined, processed carbs that we eat in, right? So if you were to eat good, natural carbs, right? Now the carbs breaks down, your body absorbs the carbs, it breaks it down to glucose. And glucose is very pivotal here. Glucose is very essential because glucose is your source of energy. There's something called ATP, adenosine triphosphate, right? So glucose is your source of energy. Now, the glucose, your body converts the glucose into glycogen. Glycogen is still good. It's still your source of energy. You need that to carry on with your daily activities, right? Now, with the glucose is stored, the glycogen is stored in something called your glycogen stores, right? So let me backtrack again. So you have the carbs turn into glucose, turns into glycogen, and the glycogen is stored in your glycogen stores, right? Now, when your glycogen stores is maxed out, what does that mean? Meaning you don't exercise, you keep on eating carbs, converts to glycogen, and you're not using it, because the whole point is we eat, right? The more you consume, the more you should burn, right? So if you consume it and you're not burning, meaning you're not exercising, you're not working out, it's gonna get maxed out, right? So when it's maxed out, that's when it converts into fat. That's how you gain fat. That's how you gain weight. All right, so I'm gonna go over the steps again. So you have carbs, right? Let me switch my camera. Yo, hold on 1 second for me. This whole time, I'm not showing my entire face. Again, I'm beginning this stuff. Let me make sure this is tracking. Here we go. All right, so you have carbs, and then you have glucose. Carbs converts to glucose, glucose converts to glycogen. Glycogen is stored in your glycogen stores, and then when it's maxed out, that's where it converts into fat, right? So that's how you gain weight. So the reason why the American population has a lot of fat people is we eat all these types of carbs, which are not even good carbs or natural unprocessed carbs. These are all refined processed carbs, right? And we don't walk enough, we don't exercise, and so our glycogen stores are maxed out. That's why we all fat, right? So now let's go into the action step. So the action steps, I'm gonna give y'all actionable steps on how to burn fat fast. So you have two options. This is where the fitness community confuse a lot of guys, right? So you got two options on how to burn fat fast. So you can go the unsustainable way. That's how I call it, if that makes sense. You understand? You can go the unsustainable way. What does that mean? I will break it down. The unsustainable way means, well, it might be sustainable for some people, right? But for a lot of us who have been eating the American diet since we were kids, it's unsustainable for us. So that's something like a keto diet, a carnivore diet. That's unsustainable. That's what I call it. So if you know anything about the keto diet or the carnivore diet, it's mainly meat, right? Maybe meat or fish and some grains. There's no carbs, right? And the trick to that is the reason why the keto or the carnivore diet helps a lot of people is because when a lot of people go on the keto or the carnivore diet, they lose a lot of weight, is because there's no carbs, right? There's no carbs. They're not eating carbs. And so they skip that whole entire process, or they skip that whole entire step. And so their body just taps into their fat stores instead of going through that whole steps that I just broke down, right? Instead of going through the carbs, the glucose, the glycogen, and the fat, because they don't have no carbs to be converted into glucose and glycogen, their body just taps into their fat stores, their fat storage for their daily activities, to carry on with their daily activities such as weightlifting, exercises, and whatnot. And so that's why they lose weight or they burn fat quick, right? So that's the unsustainable part, or the unsustainable option. And the reason why I say it's unsustainable is because a lot of us can't stick with the keto diet or the carnivore diet, right? We've been raised on rice, especially if you're from the Asian community or the African community. You've been raised on rice. You've been eating rice since you was 1 or 2. So it's going to be hard to just go cold turkey and just completely cut out carbs such as rice and right. See, that's the unsustainable way. But it does work. It's very efficient. If you can stick with it, if you can stick with the keto or the carnivore diet, you're going to lose weight or burn fat fast, right? Even if you're not tracking. And the second method is the sustainable diet. So what does that mean? So the sustainable diet means you can eat whatever you want, but you have to track it, right? So that's when, I don't know if you guys have heard this, that's when people say calories in, calories out. It's not about, you understand me, calories in, calories out. So that's the sustainable diet. So you can eat everything you want. Maybe you bump up your protein a little high and then eat whatever the hell you want. But the thing with that method is that a lot of guys or a lot of people cannot stick with it. Why? Because it involves tracking. And a lot of people don't want to track their diet. How many of us want to track our diet every day? Track our meals, you understand me? Track your macros. A lot of people don't want to do that. Or you might start doing that, but then you fall off. So that's the two options that you have, right? And I tried both options. And I would say I've used both options to lose weight. Type 1, the unsustainable way. And it was really effective because with the unsustainable way, I didn't have to worry about tracking, right? And I was eating mostly meat and fish, no carbs. And with the sustainable way, I liked it more because I can eat whatever the hell I want, but then I have to track it, right? I had to download my Fitness Pal, track my macros, my calories, and get to some point you get frustrated. We're humans, right? Life gets in the way and things happen. So those are the two methods or ways or route to burn fat fast, right? There's nothing else, right? I've been doing this for a long time. If y'all guys want proof, y'all could check my socials, Instagram, Benjilo Fit. Y'all gonna see all the testimonials and whatnot out there. So I'm not gonna keep this video too long. I'm still new on YouTube, you understand me? So y'all should cut me some slack if I'm fumbling my words. So that's pretty much it. If you guys think this video gave you some value or provided y'all with some value or you learned something new, share with your friends, subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.